Hey Democrats, your people are at it again. Hey there friends, welcome back to another Legally Armed America video. I'm of course Paul Glasgow here, the one and only truth pimp, dealing you a vulgar display of logic and reason on a daily basis. Guys, these are the kinds of stories that I hate. I hate covering these. I know I cover them when they come out because they interest me and they need to be talked about because there's always a root cause, as I discuss in my freaking book. But I hate talking about this stuff. I really do, because it shows the weakness, in my opinion, these are all my opinions by the way, of society and how certain elements in our society are willing to look the other way and in fact sometimes celebrate, like in this case, people who are mentally ill just so that they can put a new little thing that circles their Facebook avatar, or something that they can wear a t-shirt that says, I support this cause. In other words, it's a feel-good thing. They're willing to look the other way with people who are mentally ill just so that they can be inclusive themselves and be included in the cool kid group and say, yay, I'm a rainbow pride person. Well, it happened again. Another tragedy, another round of media spin. 2 children are dead right now and dozens are wounded. The usual suspects are at it again. Leftist politicians and activist media desperate to protect their ideological sacred cows instead of confronting the real crisis, which is mental health. I talk about this all the time and I'm not going to stop talking about it. I'm never going to stop talking about it. Quick side note, could we please, for the love of God, harden our schools like we do banks, Congress? Could we please? Are our kids not worth it? I guarantee their kids are. The ones crying about gun control, every one of them's own children are protected better than yours are. But we cry about guns. Let's harden our freaking schools. How about that? Every time there's a quote mass shooting that involves some kind of trans-identifying gender pretender, instead of an honest reckoning with the mental health epidemic that's raging in the transgender pretender community, a crisis that's obvious from every manifesto and unhinged social media posts that we read after these same types of tragedies from these same types of people, the media and the politicians pivot. They don't miss a beat. They call for gun control. By the way, I'm showing you video of this gender pretender who carried out this heinous crime. I'm showing you B-roll footage of this. Source Mike with Mr. Guns Gear, by the way, thanks for sharing that. He actually shared that before it got taken down off of YouTube. I'm sure this video will get nuked at some point too, but again, thanks Mike for sharing that. I was able to grab this off of the internet before it got taken down. But I wanted you to see this as a backdrop while I discuss this with you, because maybe without the audio, and he just kind of rambles with the audio, kind of heavy breathing type thing. Doesn't really say a whole lot other than at some point he does say that Brandon Herrera should run for president, or you should vote for Brandon Herrera. I'm not tying Brandon to this. I'm just saying he does say that in the video. But clearly some kind of wacko leftist. Hates Trump too, by the way. So we know this story is a difficult one for the left because they want to claim it because it's a school, children were killed, guns were involved. But it's a tough one for them because it's one of their own protected classes who pulled the trigger. And it's a mounting thing that continues to happen over and over again. We see these numbers continue to increase with these mentally ill transgender pretenders carrying out these types of crimes. So this is going to be a tough one for them to stomach. They don't want the conversation to linger on why someone with obvious instability, someone with drastic identity shifts and clear warning signs plastered all over their online presence that was ignored by law enforcement, probably counselors, parents, everyone in the community seemed to ignore everything, probably celebrated, to be honest with you, this gender pretender because he was doing something really cool. Oh, by the way, he petitioned to be called a female name, and his parents, the enablers that they are, signed off on it. So we got an entire community, a state that backs this up because Minnesota is known for promoting the whole mental illness of gender dysphoria. And of course the parents dove right in. And they're never going to point at themselves. The parents won't. They'll blame because the media and politicians will allow them to, and they'll climb on board, they'll blame guns. They'll never point at themselves and go, how did we miss this? They're going to say, those doggone guns. Yeah, you see, what's going to happen is this narrative is going to be engineered to portray that the entire trans movement is a vulnerable population, conveniently erasing the victims and redirecting anger towards, obviously, law-abiding gun owners and, of course, the Second Amendment. So if guns are the problem, why did so many warning signs get ignored? Why do these shooters, quote-unquote, keep slipping through the cracks, protected by culture, more afraid of being labeled transphobic than of actually stopping mass murder in these cases? Every single time, the facts are the same. The shooter was on the community's radar. The shooter made their intentions clear. The shooter was celebrated online for their bravery and identity rather than called out for their disturbing rhetoric. So what are the predictable responses in this case? It's going to be the same old thing. Gun bans, universal background checks, magazine limits, same old tired talking points. Not a single national Democrat will stand up and say, maybe we should pour mental health resources into the trans community to get these people help, because even we recognize an alarming trend. No, they won't come out and say that, because it points a finger back at them. And again, they're willing to die on this hill where less than 1%, like 0.05% of the population of the United States identifies as these gender pretenders. Yeah, they're willing to die on that hill. Talk about stupid. Here's an idea. Maybe we should question a movement that shuns reality and labels concerns where we want people to actually get help as hate speech. Yeah, see, what's going to happen is this video will get demonetized, likely taken down at some point by YouTube. Why? Because I'm calling for these mentally disturbed people to get help. I'm literally saying, I'm pleading for somebody to recognize that we have a group of mentally ill people out there that need help. Yes, I'm actually calling for their help. I'm not calling for you to mow them all down. I'm saying they're calling themselves out so they're easy to identify. When they do self-identify, call them in, bring them in, do something, get them help. But no, you know what's going to happen? That's going to be called hate speech, because it goes against what they want me to do. They want me to celebrate them. They want me to high-five these mentally ill patients instead of saying, buddy, look, you need some help. Nobody's doing that. Parents aren't doing that. Schools aren't doing that. Communities aren't doing that. Politicians aren't doing that. The media, they celebrate it too. Everybody in that list is complicit when this crap happens. You want to blame a gun? Yeah, let's blame the car that he drove to the freaking killing while we're at it. How stupid is that? These jackasses continue to double down, scapegoating firearms while turning violent perpetrators into martyrs for their little fundraising cause online against guns. Meanwhile, ignoring the fact that the next one is out there and they're still not trying to get them help. Do you wonder if for a brief moment, and this is an honest question here, I know I can be sarcastic, but I'm serious here. Do you wonder if for a minute any Democrat or any of these people that celebrate these mental illnesses and just always spin this stuff into being anti-gun, do you think for a minute, and a serious question, that they look back, even if it's in a empty room by themselves, and think, maybe we shouldn't be celebrating this? I see a pattern, because the pattern's there. Do you think they look at that like that? Do you think they think maybe we're on the wrong side of this one? Or are they that stupid or mentally ill themselves to where they say, nope, it's still the guns? I mean, really, do you honestly believe that they are that mentally invested in this where they can't see that this is a problem and guns are not the problem? Guns are a tool in a series of decisions that are made along the way. The person was mentally ill before they ever even sought out a gun or made the decision to take a human life. That existed. That thought existed before anything, before any selection of a tool. So are you saying that the brand of AR-15 is the problem too? Because they sought that out after they decided they wanted an AR-15. So when they seek out a specific brand, somehow do we demonize that brand because that was the problem too? No. You see how stupid that sounds? Again, it's as stupid as the whole car they drove to the crime scene that day. Guys, enough is enough. This country deserves honest analysis, not deflection that you see by these clowns in the media every time this happens, and it's one of their protected classes of people. This is about accountability, guys. It's about stopping a dangerous ideology from shielding individuals who need intervention, help, not affirmation. Man, it's about telling the truth, even if the left and their media shields hate every word of it. If this script is not changed soon, there's going to be more and more and more of this. Because if nothing else, when you give affirmation to these people, you're also making them into kind of quasi-heroes, right? So the next one who's out there that may not be contemplating something this horrible and heinous might be thinking, wow, you know, my friends, my leftist friends, my progressive friends who are celebrating my mental illness, because again, these are young people, this may be their cry for help, but we're ignoring it and high-fiving them instead and celebrating it. Maybe that next person is thinking, well, if no one's going to help me, I want to go out like that. I'm going to leave you with this, and I have said this probably 24 times on this channel, but I'm going to tell you anyway in case there's some new viewers out there. Ignoring a person's mental illness, like in this case, and celebrating it is one of the worst things you could possibly do. Because if a person who is schizophrenic comes up to you, and it's just the two of you, they come up to you and they whisper in your ear, do you hear all those voices? And you look around, and y'all are the only two in the room. Do you look them in the eye and go, yeah, man, I hear them too. Good for you. Whack. High five them. No, you don't. At that point, you realize they have a problem. And if you are a good friend and a decent person, you help find them help. I don't care if you get online, find them at therapy center. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you refer them to a buddy or a friend who you know that can help get them help. If you're a good friend, you try to get them help. Why don't people do this with this mental illness? Why is it that progressives and leftists can latch on to people who are mentally ill, watch them spiral and go out in a ball of flames like this, and they're looked at as being the good ones instead of the ones who really are the real problem because they ignored their friends' cry for help? Let's get these people some help. Again, I've said it before. How am I the advocate for helping trans people? Because I think I'm the only one trying to get them help and stressing to people, get them help. Friends, I don't care what the left says. Thoughts and prayers go out to these families and everybody involved here. The left does not have some kind of jurisdiction over prayers and thoughts out there, so I don't care what they say. They can all kiss my ass because I am praying and thinking about the families who are directly affected, especially the family of the 8 and 10-year-old children who were murdered by this mental patient. Guys, if you like the video, please like it, share it, subscribe if you don't mind. Hit that bell so you get notifications when I upload a video. And you better share it soon, because I think because of the footage that I shared in here of this killer, I believe this video is likely going to be taken down soon. But if you don't mind, share it. Let's try to get these people help. Again, I'm not so cold to sit here and say they should all be wiped out, although at this rate, I'm really starting to second guess that decision. I think these people need to get help. And somebody should be standing on a hill screaming, we're allowing these people to suffer in their own little jails in their minds, and doing nothing about it except printing t-shirts and waving flags that celebrate them. That's not right. Don't forget, guys, if you're looking for a book to educate yourself and to educate the idiots out there who can't think for themselves regarding mass shootings, go to damnliars.net. Again, damnliars.net, and get my brand new book, Damn Liars.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.